Hello, I'm horror cartoonist Dennis St. John. I draw monsters and write twisted tales. As you can imagine, I was a little obsessed with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Lucky for me, so were most of my high school friends, all except one. One friend who stubbornly refused to join the Scoobies. So here we are, 20-some-odd years later. I'm teaming up with Doc Travis, John Teach Landis, and maybe a special guest or two. And we're going to make our friend, Michael Poley, watch one episode of Buffy a week until he's no longer the Buffy Virgin. Welcome to Buffy Virgin, a spoiler-free Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast. We're going to be walking the yellow brick road with Season 5, Episode 5, No Place Like Home. I'm your host, monster expert Dennis St. John. We are missing one of our regular cast members, but why don't the other two of you introduce yourself in order from least amount of shoes you own to most?
Hi, my name is John. I own very few pairs of shoes. I have a pair of work shoes. I have a pair of weekend shoes, which are my previous work shoes, but now have holes in them. And I also have a pair of hiking boots, and that is all the shoes.
And my name is Michael. I'm the Virgin. I've seen only up to Season 5, Episode 5, No Place Like Home. And I have too many shoes. I have professional shoes. I have 2 pairs of hiking shoes. I have 2 pairs of hiking sandals. I have some regular sandals, flip-flops. I have the really nice shoes I only wear to weddings. And then I have some running shoes.
Nice. I got a couple random shoes, but my favorite shoes are my hand-woven by wool inside the apartment slippers. That's what I'm wearing when I'm at home.
Comfy.
I'm sure, sorry, that's boring podcast information. Why don't we get to more exciting stuff? And we'll get into reactions for Season 5, Episode 1.
Audience reactions.
We'll start off with at Renan Oz says, as someone who does not care about Dracula lore and or its various versions, I did not need any more of it and had slightly gritted teeth through that convo. Lol. Made up for in spades by the shoutouts of both The Witches and MASH. Potter Winchester era for life. And then Renan Oz says, interesting side note, read the actor playing Dracula. It was a network thing. They were debuting a TV movie at the time, and so when the writers pulled the script up, they were asked for it to be a crossover. And I don't know what TV movie that was. We should look that up.
Yeah, so is that, if I'm hearing that right, there's a TV movie out there about this Dracula?
I think it just stars the actor playing Dracula, but in a different
darn it! That would be amazing.
Yeah.
A whole TV movie about that Dracula, just like being a dandy around and like being really difficult.
Ren also says, and also weird prediction this week, Mike. Buffy doesn't have a sister. Have you blanked all of Dawn's scenes from the first 4 seasons? Season 5, what a fascinating ride. Sagoff9 has a similar comment. What are you guys talking about? Dawn has always been there. I love the summary, by the way.
Oh, shit.
I love it when the listeners are playing along with this crap.
Well, we'll figure out more about Dawn this episode. But first, Silver Spike, also in reaction to Season 5, Episode 1. This is some of our HD talk that Silver Spike's reacting to. Buffy was never widescreen. The so-called HD versions are appalling. Joss is adamant it should be reviewed as it was shot in 4:3. See Passion of the Nerd's latest video on the subject. It does cover all seasons through those, so beware spoilers. Which I've seen that video. It's really good. And John, by the time this airs, John will have released a video also about the HD. So we're very aware of these issues. But John's just pointing out fun stuff he finds. And there's a really good video about it that if you haven't watched by now, you should. JM, meaning James Marsters' accent, was all over the place. What episode were you watching, lol? The Initiative v. Dracula. You do get this whole show is meant to be a metaphor for a young woman's life and not a retelling of old horror characters. Also, this was obviously meant to be seen as a lighthearted comedy episode. Nice to see a rep from Middle Earth included in your lineup this month, though.
Man.
Major dig.
Silver Spike, do you own a power plant? Because you are Mr. Burns.
That was weak, John. Garant Thatcher says, "Love the summary. They got a new stunt double for season 5 for Buffy season 5 onwards, and I hated that cartwheel kick she would do. It looks so goofy. We'll try to pay attention to that." All right, so thank you everybody for reacting. If we missed your comments, we're sorry, but thank you very much for saying what you say. Now let's do the summary.
The summary.
Dawn is the key. Dawn is the key. Dawn is the key. Is the key. Is the key. Dawn is the key. Is the key. Dawn is the key. Dawn is the key.
All right, thank you, Mike. Let's do great lines.
Great lines.
And I chose kind of a classic that will live on in Buffy infamy. Buffy saying to Spike, "What are you doing here? 5 words or less. Out for a walk, bitch."
The pause up between walk and bitch is pretty nice. Because it's a little bit uncertain.
It's like he realized he's got that extra word, and he's like, "Yes, extra word." It's like adding an S in Scrabble and hitting like a triple word score.
So this one is just Xander riffing on Anya's amazing shopkeeping. "Anya, the Shopkeepers Union America called. They want me to tell you, please go," just got replaced with, "have a nice day."
And I enjoyed, it's not a funny line, but I enjoy when Willow says, "I have all of this involuntary empathy for Dawn," which I don't think I realized before. That phrase, involuntary empathy, has really stuck in my brain. And I think I use that as a regular part of my speech ever since this episode. So here's for involuntary empathy.
Yeah, and involuntary Buffyisms. That's cool. And now for the kill count.
The kill count.
3 humans, because I'm counting the 2 other monks we saw at the beginning who aren't there at the end. 1 vampire is staked, and new category, brain drained. There are 2 brain drains this episode. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes with weird noticings and trivia.
Weird noticings.
Hey, you guys remember Raves? Man, I love this security guard actor who thinks that Buffy's a raver. It took me a minute to understand that that's what he thought. Because like Buffy hangs out in all these desolate areas anyway, but for someone to call out like, "Hey, I know you're going to a warehouse rave or whatever," like that was very funny. And then this glow ball, you know, it's like some raver shit.
Yeah, I swear I don't get your generation. I also like how friendly that dude is. He's just like, "I'm just doing my job, but I'm really lonely. Do you want to hang out? I'm going to shoo you away, but you want to talk for a minute?"
It sort of reminds me of this kind of weird character actor that shows up on Angel as well. There's some episode where there's an emotional lady that like is psychic or whatever. And there's a totally weird cop character this reminds me of. It's not a different actor, but I kind of love this. I like when they add a little personality to these fucking background people. Oh, so good.
Speaking of background people, Scott L. Schwartz is the vampire that Buffy's beating up around that scene. And he was in Ocean's 11. He is in a lot of movies where he plays the big dumb guy who's beating you up. And I just like seeing him here.
He's so huge compared to tiny Buffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets a bunch of full like face punches, you know, this episode. And that fight was fun, but it just made me think like she could stake this guy at any minute. Like, is it just like in the video game version of stuff where you have to beat up the guy a bunch before you can do the final blow? Because like I've never played the Buffy video game, but I imagine that's what happens.
Yeah, staking's a fatality. Totally.
You got to quip and hit. I mean, it's very Spider-Man, this whole Buffy thing, the way they play it off.
There's also a Spider-Man reference this episode, which is like, what, the second time she's been referred to like as Parker level strength. I miss the days when like Spider-Man was the only quippy superhero. Like every superhero is like equally quippy now. That's a separate rant. Um,
Buffy has a moment of being really confused about the phrase about making money hand over fist. And I realized I also found that phrase to be confusing. So I looked it up. Apparently, it's a nautical saying. Hand over fist is you're climbing a rope. Your hand is over your fist because you're like pulling yourself up a rope. And so, like back in the day, hand over fist was a metaphor because you're climbing a rope, you're making progress. And it was just meant you're making progress. And at some point, it became narrowed to only meaning financial progress. So hand over fist is because you're climbing a rope to riches.
Wow.
it sounds like pirate terminology to me.
I think I've literally never thought it through. It is your visual of climbing a rope is perfect. It's just like, oh yeah, that just means I'm doing great. Hand over fist.
To steal a line from one of John's themes, I noticed an HD issue of when the mysterious character is banging on that metal door. You can see the wire pulling it. Just was never meant to be shown in such clarity.
And that character reveal is awesome. For the woman in the red dress, she's great. I love it. Like, it just felt like another Buffy clone had arrived, and like maybe that's what she is. Who knows? I mean, it's very unclear to me what this new character wants. She wants the key, which we now know is Dawn, and how that works in human form. Yeah, I'm like, this is so confusing and convoluted to be like literally insane. Like, this episode makes you feel insane because it's like, I mean, I'll just talk about it right now for a second. Sorry. It's just that, so Dawn is a key in human form made by monks 2 months ago, and they've given everybody magical memories of it being a human in order to protect it because they'll want to protect Dawn. And like, it is interesting because Willow's like, hey, Dawn, watch out for Dawn, to Buffy, because Buffy will get mad at her. And like, that part's interesting to me because it's like, why does Willow care except that she's an empathetic human is how it reads. But then it's like, no, actually it's part of this viral, thing they've been infected by. And so they want to protect Dawn even though they shouldn't. And I just thought that it's very strange. I don't know where it's going with this fucking story, but it's weird. It's a weird way to dissect sibling relationships. By saying someone is not real, which I think we all suspect of our siblings, but or like not they're not related, right? But we can get into it later. But anyway, the reveal is great. This new character is crazy. That speech where she's like interrogating the monk is like awesome. It goes like between like sexual, like a little bit erotic to like fucking weird rage, self-doubt, narcissism. Like, it's just a full display of the things.
Of all the things. Yeah, I wish Trav was here because this character is one of his favorites. Which I don't think is spoiling anything to say that. He just really likes this character. So he would have probably been resisting saying more, like John and I are.
Yeah. It's
hard.
There's a lot to say.
Spoiler-free podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is. I think you're totally right that she, like, the term Buffy clone is maybe a little wonky, but like she's like last week you used a different term. Like,
we were talking about just all the characters that look like Buffy, right? So it's like Kate is a kind of a Buffy lookalike. Harmony.
Yeah, they're these like Buffy equivalents or other sides of Buffy, and that's what she seems to be.
If you go down the bottom, there's a screenshot there.
More HD.
Yeah, so the monk, right before he's captured by the woman in the red dress, who we're not going to say what her name is because apparently that's a minor spoiler. Anyway, he has this map and he circles something on the map. So in the HD version, you can actually see the street names on the map, and it's actually a map of Santa Barbara. And he's circling something, and I'm not sure why. I couldn't figure out in the plot like why he would have a map and why he would be circling a place on the map. Do we know really what that was about?
I think my interpretation, and I could be wrong, but my interpretation was he was circling Ravello Drive, Buffy's house.
So it's possible he's circling Buffy's house. That would make sense. But the spot he's circling in reality is actually Arturo's mobile car wash / detail. So just for whatever that's worth.
All right. Yeah, he doesn't seem to have a car. That's amazing.
It's nice that, like people talk about how Sunnydale is an analog for Santa Barbara. They actually use the map of Santa Barbara in this case.
I'm frustrated that I feel like Buffy didn't seem to understand Giles' primary point when he's like, the ramblings of a madman aren't much to go on. She just answers with, but it's all we've got. And it's like, no, I think he's trying to say, like, you don't have to, it's a madman. Like, I just find that frustrating dealing with a lot of people with delusions. It's like, I know not to listen to those delusions. They're not like, there's not a secret inner meaning to them. They're just like, okay, thanks.
So does Robert Zemeckis get $1 every time someone fades out in an old photo? Like, does somebody get paid for that? Because, like, first of all, the effects are great this episode, but that photo fading effect, which we all know from Back to the Future, like, is it okay to do that? Like, don't you have to do something a little different?
What I like about stuff like that is then it's the question of, like, why did they crop that photo that way then? If it was like a full third of the frame is empty.
It's part of the golden ratios, obviously. I love the effect though of the room blinking out between the, like, it's the old room that was left alone, like and abandoned versus, Dawn's room. That is so good. And then it's like, but I feel like it's such a powerful visual trick that, like, I literally don't know what the show is doing right now because it has said that Dawn isn't real but is real. So, like, this is just like a magical cue that something is off, but it's, like, not literally true. It's just like this is emotionally what's happening. But, like, I was like, but is this literally happening?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like, so if there's all that stuff stored in Dawn's room in the other reality, like, where is all that stuff?
Yeah. Did they just lose that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, like,
That's a
there
good
must have been
question.
so many events and activities that they were able to do because Dawn wasn't there, just because, like, a family of 2 is going to have more time to spend on each other than a family of 3, right? So, like, what happened to those events and those memories? Like, those are gone.
They're rewritten. They're slightly rewritten. Yeah. Before that, I really like that tripping scene stuff, and I also really like the setup for it. Just the very funny, like, delivery of, like, what is basically exposition dialogue, which is like, you need to do a trance, but, like, Anya just, like, brings it up to this next level because she starts talking about, like, the 16th century guy who's so cute in his little knickers, and then, like, Buffy misunderstanding French and thinks it's rotate many foodstuffs. Which is, like, a callback to, like, last time she studied French was in high school, right? So I just liked, like, when you can, like, deliver a lot of, like, informational dialogue in a way that's, like, very fun, like, that's super hard to do, and the show does
Totally.
it really well.
I mean, you called it out in the great lines, but WTF, Spike is straight creeping. That was so unexpected because Buffy is, like, out on a mission now she's, like, had the magical vision, and then, like, Spike is behind a tree, like, staring at her in the window. I don't know what he's seeing, but he's just hanging out out of her house. Ugh. Like,
Yeah, and there's all those cigarette butts. He's been there for a while. Like,
I mean, he could straight up look in the window. Like, I think he has an invitation to the house, I believe. Is that correct? Can Spike just come in? I know he can
at
go
this
to
point-
Giles's place.
I feel like it's gone back and forth, and I can't remember now.
I mean, they could have magically sealed it or not, right? Because I know Willow has that spell that she knows.
yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while.
But wow, that's fun. That's fun to see. Probably saw where Riley goes. What's Riley up to?
Yeah. Then there's the we can talk about the retail scene. That shit's crazy.
Oh, it's such a fun, crazy arc in this episode of no one's going to the magic shop. Wow, the magic shop is, like, insanely busy with no marketing. Like,
There's so many warlocks and wizards in Sunnydale, man. That's good stuff. So there's a big stunt fight this episode. I just wanted to point out because it does feel like the with the introduction of this new character who's at potentially a new power level. The stunts are pumped up a level. There's a lot of throwing people across rooms, punching into concrete walls. I don't know. It was a good fight, I thought. And it's cool because like we were saying with Buffy fighting that big vampire earlier, like we set up how strong she is, and then this creature's at another level. So we get like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a normal Buffy fight. And I also wanted to point out at the end when Anya's doing her rant that there's some funny stuff like in the magic shop, like a sign that says shoplifters will be transfigured.
Yeah, there's another sign that's a little harder to read, and that says "Manager's Special: Voodoo Dolls half off." So I guess Giles, I think he must have inherited a lot of stock from the dead person.
Yeah,
he wants to clear out because there's a lot of discount signs.
That's funny. Yeah, there is some odd stuff like straight up figurines and crap that just looks like that doesn't belong in a magic store.
All right, Mike, you want to finish this up?
Sure. I think everybody is allowed to have at least one "you aren't really my sibling" moment, and I totally related to Buffy's kind of insane sister grab. Now I've never done that, but like I think emotionally, I'm like, there's no way you're acting crazy, and I know I have proven it factually that you're insane, and we are not related. And like that was just a wonderful, emotionally true though like very strange part. I mean, the idea of like Buffy just staring at Dawn and waiting for her to like revert to her true form or whatever is going to happen. Like, yeah, totally. Like that's a rad moment. And then when nothing happens, I mean, that whole sequence is great because it's also about how Joyce is not magically sick. It's and Dawn is the thing. And like, I like that reveal a lot. I think it's really well handled. Though the end of this episode is artfully strange. I don't know about that choice, but it clearly wants us to think about the Dawn Buffy relationship. But I no idea where they're going to go with this.
I think you're hitting on kind of like the central like idea of the show of like handling real life feelings through like big crazy monster metaphors, right? And it's like emotionally, I get what Buffy's going through with the sheer irritation with the sister. But then to bring it up to that, like, she's an invisible ghost thing. And I definitely, like, I've had way more than one from my brother saying we're not really siblings because, you know, he has different delusions about who he is and what the family is. So from the other side, from Dawn's side, I recognize, like, somebody yelling, like, "You're not my brother!"
Wow. No, you're the key to another dimension where I can get back home maybe or whatever it is.
So let's move on to questions for the group.
Questions for the group.
Okay, so Dawn's nickname with her mother is Lil Pumpkin Belly. What was your mom's nickname for you?
I actually don't remember. I'm sure I had one because I'm sure my mom would have done that. I remember my dad used to call my brother Loki Pokey.
Aw. That's cute.
I'm sure I had one, yeah, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, I can't recall any like fun nicknames or anything. I feel like they were pretty straight with us. I feel like we're just little adults.
That sounds like your parents a little bit, actually. They'd just be like, "Good morning, young Mr. Poley."
Oh yeah, my dad used to call me Master Dennis a lot.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, I'll riff on that. Yeah, my dad would call me Mr. Poley. That's
Seriously? That was the joke I was just making.
No, that's like didn't struck me as a nickname or whatever, but like he'll still do that on the phone now. He'll say Mr.
like
Poley. And then I say Mr. Poley back. And then it's like,
aw,
ha 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 ha.
I could never call my dad Mr. St. John.
That's nice.
He always insisted on Dr. St. John.
When I was little, my mom called me Boogsy.
Aw, that's nice.
Yeah, she still does sometimes. Makes me feel good.
Mike, I like your next question. It's heavy.
Have you ever felt excluded? This is maybe too. Have you ever felt excluded from a special sibling-parent relationship? Like, the moment that I love that the pumpkin belly is about is when, Buffy sees like her mom and, Dawn have a special book club. And she's like, what? Book club? Huh? Which I love because it's like there's a special thing. And I don't know, have you ever had that happen?
Not specifically, although that moment is really well structured, especially because Buffy doesn't respond to it. She's just like, you guys have book club? And then she just drops it because she can't handle it. That moment's amazing. I don't know if I ever felt specifically excluded like that. Although my father's visiting my sister in Boston right now, and they were sending me pictures of eating breakfast together with my sister's cat. It was really sweet.
At least they're not posting photos like the full family's here.
The real family. Yeah.
I think my brother always needed a little more attention than I did. So there was definitely like mom was always paying more attention to him than me. But I also always felt like I was very respected among the family. So I got my attention. Mike, you have questions we cannot answer.
Can I just ask it anyway? Because it's like, I just need a little bit of a reality check on this. So what are the powers of this new character, the lady in the red dress? So
she can break doors down. She can throw Buffy across a room. She can put duct tape on people. I mean,
that's literally, but then she can also melt a brain.
Yeah, she can brain drain.
Brain drain. That's what we're calling that.
That's what
and
I'm
also
calling
like
it.
it appears to have like a finish, like a nice like relaxing finish afterwards when you like drain a brain. Anyway, interesting new monster. Don't know this type of monster. I don't even know what they're referencing. This feels like a character from Angel, which is a straight up strange monster out of touch with other monsters. This one and the karaoke monster or whatever, like, are just these weird freaking
Karaoke
monster.
I'm glad you got that far in Angel. That's great.
Karaoke monster is like my favorite new random monster. He's great. And it's really well explained. I was never confused. Because Angel has a lot of whiffs on monsters. They're like, oh, this is the psychic little kid monster. I don't need to go into it. Sorry.
Yes, you do. You need to go into it when we do our next Angel special.
Oh, sure.
Stay tuned, listeners.
We should do our Angel special in a karaoke bar and call it Caritas. So any stressful retail experiences, guys? You want to reflect
Working or shopping?
Whatever comes up.
Well, I did have to work at the KB Toys in Bloomington, Indiana, which is the only toy store within quite a distance for Black Friday. And we opened at, I think it was like 4:30 in the morning, and there was already a line that like stretched to the outside of the mall. And like there were dudes, there was a dad who like to get the like hot toy or whatever started like climbing the gondola shelving. Like he was climbing the shelves like hand over fist. He was going up the shelves, and I had to like be like, dude, don't do that. Like, so that was stressful, and it was a 12-hour shift. They made everybody work 12-hour shifts that day, and I had because I had another job at the movie theater in the same mall. And after my shift at the 12-hour shift at the toy store, I had to go immediately to my shift at the movie theater and work. It was a 17-hour day. It was awful.
Wow, dude.
It was a rough day.
I mean, I've worked retail as well. I've worked both at like a Bed Bath Beyond type place and at a UPS store. And that Christmas season is legit insane. So it wasn't exactly like working at the post office. It's kind of maybe worse. I can't really tell. But yeah, working at a UPS during the Christmas season, you just really feel like you can't keep up. You can't breathe. And people are angry about the expense of shipping. And also you're a retail location, so it's a little bit higher than it should be. It totally is. And like just this anxious feeling like I'm participating in some kind of willful robbery of people. Slash people's insistence. And like, you're like, you have a fucking sign you can point to that says how many days till, you can ship till Christmas and what style of shipping, just because you're like, I know you're going to ask about this thing. I know this is a problem. But yeah, that's fine. Okay.
We in the shipping business have heard of Christmas. When you're in that position of like of a shit job like that, and it's like you have to like stress yourself out and like lay yourself down for this thing that you don't even like. You know, like right now, like, you know, like now I'm a teacher, like my job's stressful. It's like, at least I can go home and be like, well, there's a good reason for doing all this and for being stressed out. But when you work at like a shitty store, it's just like, I really don't care if this store like burns to the ground tomorrow. Like, why would I work a 12-hour shift and like deal with people who are mean to me?
Yeah, retail is one of those nightmare jobs. I mean, it's like waitering or serving is a nightmare job too. Yeah, you just walk around with a little bit of anxiety the whole time.
Yeah, I do work a very popular booth at Comic-Con. So luckily that's like only 4 days a year that I'm doing retail these days. But it's very stressful. There's a lot, and I definitely have people who don't make it. We have to shut off the line, or the fire marshal shuts us all down, which has happened. And so I have people hovering around the line that I have to like shoo away, who are like, "This is wrong. You know this is wrong."
Oh God, those Peanuts fans are intense.
They are so intense, dude. Everybody's intense about Comic-Con exclusives, and like,
Okay.
so people come back every day to get the daily exclusive, and they get really mad if you don't have it, or they get very pushy. And some of it I have empathy for, because we have like problems with like we have to have like a disabled line, and people get confused about that because it's not we don't have a clear sign about it, and about what the rules of this. That's not the proper term. I forget what the term is for our disabled line. But then people who don't know that that's what it is get upset that they see somebody cutting. It's fucking a mess. Another real life experience, accidentally being really high around your parents. Am I right? When Buffy's like trying to be chill, talking to her mom, and she's like having full on like magic hallucinations. I'm like,
Oh shit! I didn't even trigger from that. That's
okay, I
great.
know this experience. Like, just pretend to be normal. All right. We've already kind of talked about the big Dawn reveal. Do we have anything more to say about it?
I guess I wanted to say, you know, Michael, that your read of what is going on with Dawn, like you definitely picked up on all of the information that was given in this episode, which was not true of me when I watched it the first time. I think I was much further into this season before I fully wrapped my mind as to what was going on with Dawn as the key.
Oh, as the key? Yeah, I mean, there isn't a lot going on in this episode, but there's enough to be like, because I've already been suspicious of Dawn. I know she's not real, even though our listeners are trying to gaslight me, which is fine. I know it's bullshit, but I also don't know how I want to pull it off, right? So this is a crazy option. Because like I'm used to this multi-dimensional shit, but also just like, oh, between seasons, the monks did a thing, and they created a human manifestation of a key and then gave it to the Slayer to hold, and that's Dawn. And they gave everyone false memories of Dawn, so they'd want to protect her. But also, Joyce is dying, unrelated, and has formed a special relationship with this human key, who thinks she's human, but also is innocent. Like, come on, like this is crazy. And then there's a monster that wants to probably use Dawn to open a dimensional gate so she can get back home or wherever she's from, because she doesn't want to be there, doesn't like being in the human world, clearly. So it's like Dawn is the key to a thing. Probably Dawn has to be sacrificed to open a door or something like that. Or the door is inside Dawn. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, there's a lot I want to say about this, but I don't think I can talk about it now.
No. All right. Let's do recommendations.
Recommendations.
I'm gonna recommend. I might have recommended all of these or two of these before. I'm gonna do a Tale of Two Sisters, a Korean horror movie with sisters. Not to reveal the ending of that movie, but there's a specific reason that relates to this episode. It was also remade into an American movie called The Uninvited, which is not as good, but the original's good. The ultimate retail movie is Dawn of the Dead, so I'm recommending that. And I actually really struggled with finding. There's a shit ton of like nun movies and priest movies, but there's not that many monk movies. So the only one I could really find was Catacombs, aka Curse 4: The Ultimate Sacrifice, which is about monks protecting. Let's see, the audience review for Catacombs. A demon who has been imprisoned in a monastery for a century awakens. It's a Charles Band movie. It's Full Moon Productions. They do the Puppet Master series and like Evil Bong and Meridian, which is one of my favorites. So that's the quality you're getting with that movie. It was weirdly hard for me to find like a evil monk movie.
Not an evil monk movie, but what about Name of the Rose?
We could do Name of the Rose. Yeah, with Sean Connery.
Yeah.
All right. Name of the Rose.
Classic Monk movie. That's the Monk movie. Besides, obviously, the TV show Monk, which you didn't bring up.
All right. Now let's finish this all off with some cray-cray predictions.
Virgin predictions.
Okay, quick review. Your current overall accuracy is at a 63%, and at 85, a stellar 85.7 in this season alone. So let's see where we go from there. Okay, a few things to talk about here. Won't be able to resolve all of them. So back in season 3, you predicted the next time Buffy gets good advice from an adult other than Giles or Joyce, that adult will die in that episode. So Dennis said he wanted to bring this one up because the monk's dying words could qualify as advice. I think I'm going to rule against that personally.
He says to
because
protect the key.
See, I don't feel like that's advice. That's more of like, I'm giving you a job. It's when my boss like tells me that they want something due the next day. That's not advice. That's that's an order.
Yeah. I just thought it was surprising this hasn't come up since season 3, episode 4. I mean, I guess it was like Mike's prediction was maybe too specific, but it feels like a thing. Like,
yeah, I've tried to find another one there, and I every once in a while, I'll look back at that prediction and think about that, but I can't think of a solid one that we've missed. If any of the listeners know of one that we've missed where an adult gives Buffy good advice and then does or doesn't die, that would satisfy this prediction.
Because I almost feel like Professor Walsh doesn't give good advice, but she gives like threatening advice and then dies, right?
Right.
It's that good advice thing.
Okay, so also in season 3, Michael predicted that this isn't the last time that Joyce tries to understand Buffy. Understand it's in scare quotes. Also, she's not going to understand Buffy. She's going to comically, it's a long prediction. She's going to comically, I can't read it all. She's going to comically and adultly misunderstand her.
I just thought this is one to maybe pay attention to because like Joyce is coming up a lot more this season.
True.
And I do think like she is misunderstanding Buffy still. She's like, oh, a Slayer or something. I just don't know if it's comically and adultly happening.
Definitely more comic.
At the end of season 3, Michael, you predicted that Giles was going to get a job at the college. And since Giles seems to have moved on in his career now, he hasn't gotten a job at the college. I think we're going to go ahead and handle this one now. We're going to go ahead and deny that one because he got a job not at the college.
This magic store is his thing.
So that is denied.
This is another, like, the magic store is something we haven't really talked about that much, but it's like, it's another question about his finances. He was able to buy this store. Like, it's a new job. He's not, like, what are his finances, I guess? Like, because he's not going to be able to give himself, like, a salary from it for a while, right?
Right.
Nobody asks wizards where they get money. Nobody asks, okay? Wizards just have money.
He's an alchemist. I get it.
Okay, in the end of season 4, though, going along with that, you did predict that Giles will get a job in season 5, and he has gotten a job, so that's confirmed. You also predicted that the gang will get a new headquarters in season 5, and I think when Xander in this episode says, do you ever miss the library at the school, or do you ever think you'd miss the library at the school? I think that's the official moment that this becomes the gang's hangout.
Right.
Because he's officially comparing it to their old hangout. So that is also confirmed.
And Riley's all like, Danger Room? Come on. This is fucking X-Men headquarters.
Can't believe it's season 5 and they finally get a Danger Room.
Okay, so now we're going to get onto some more specific and recent predictions. At the beginning of this season, And this is a super prediction. Michael, this is going to be, I think, our first super prediction that we've actually confirmed or denied. Michael, your super prediction at the beginning of this season was Buffy doesn't have a sister. And I think based on what we know now, I think we can confirm this one.
I don't know. There's clearly a sister. Dawn is clearly a sister.
Yeah, this one, I think there's a debate here to be had. And I don't think we're going to get the full skinny on all the information we need for this debate for a little while. So we could leave it open. Dennis, you know everything I know. What do you think? Do you think you want to put a nail on this now? Do you want to talk about it later? Because I think there's a debate to be had.
Mike did not say like Buffy hasn't always had a sister who started out as a human.
Right.
Like, which that I would give him. But like there's a sister. Right now there is a sister.
Okay. Do you want to put a pin in that one?
Yeah, I want to put a pin in it.
Okay, we'll just put a pin in that one. We're going to leave it open. I think there's going to be a knockdown drag out debate. So we still have not confirmed or denied any super predictions then.
I need more people on the show besides Dennis for when that happens. Because if Dennis is going to be the arbiter, if he's going to figure out the situation, like, come on, she's not a sister. It's fake. Happened this episode.
This might make you irritated, Michael, but we do have two non-super predictions about Dawn that are a little more cut and dry, and I think we're going to address here. Michael, you predicted the same episode that Buffy's sister is a demon that is hiding out. And so whatever she is, sister or not, I think we can address that she is not a demon that's hiding out. So that is denied.
Accept.
And you also predicted that Dawn is Faith in season 5, episode 2. And again, whatever she is, I think we're pretty sure that she's not Faith. So that is also denied.
I really liked that prediction, by the way. That was a good prediction.
Okay.
Well, it's like I think you were picking like every Faith appearance has like referenced the coming of Dawn in dreams, which we can talk about now a little. So it's like almost like you were picking up on that, even though I think we had been avoiding that, but there was magical hinting in dreams with Faith.
Yeah, no, I feel like every time I watch that dream episode with people, and I think I watched it with 2 different groups of people, the end of season 4, like when there's a reference to Dawn coming in that episode, and like people who are rewatching the show or have seen it, whatever, they're always like, oh, whenever that moment happens, and I'm like, okay, that's a thing. Whatever this is a thing. And so I was trying to like, that's what's going on. Obviously wrong. But anyway.
So, as a result, your overall accuracy, Michael, has dropped from a 63 and change to a 62 and change. And your accuracy for this season went from an 85 something to a 66. So,
well, that super prediction is going to bring me back, and I know it will. And I just need to have people on the show that understand that Dawn is not Buffy's sister, and don't try and like present this gaslit version of reality.
But what is a sister?
What happened in season 4? What happened in season 4, Dennis? Where was the sister then?
Whether she had a sister in season 4 is a different prediction than Buffy doesn't have a sister. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. What does our audience think?
It was the sister. I feel like they would have to be biologically created by Joyce. And so, no, not a sister.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to fully have this debate until almost the end of the season.
Okay.
Sorry to say. All right, Michael, you have some new predictions for us?
I am going to get the dictionary open and look up the word sister, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so predictions for this season, I would say this episode rather. The new monster in the red dress, whatever her name is, will not be killed in season 5. I feel like this is a fun new monster, and it'll be a shame.
Very good.
Anya is going to take over the magic shop. Now, Giles will still own it, but that means Giles can, like, take a fucking break. Like, I think when we walk in the magic shop, Anya's there all the time. Giles is not going to be there so much. But at some point, there'll be this transition. Anya is going to take over the magic shop. And maybe take over is the wrong phrasing, because we're going to forget what this means later. Can I just change this here? Anya is going to run the day-to-day operations of the magic shop. Okay, great. Buffy will lose her memories of Dawn. She's going to lose her Dawn memories. So whenever they deal with Dawn this season, Buffy's going to lose some of those. Buffy's going to knowingly, I'm going to lose those sister memories. So Buffy will lose her Dawn memories. And it'll be a sad moment because it's like, oh, I had a sister who was great. But now she's dead or whatever. I'm going to lose some of these memories. But it's worth it. Next thing. Prediction. Dawn is a key to another dimension. I think they said there she's a key. But key to what? Key to another dimension. And that's the home world for this new monster. Okay, and then my final prediction, which is my super prediction. Buffy will not tell Joyce that her memories of Dawn are false. Because I think Joyce is going to die this season with the thinking around that she has a daughter, two daughters.
So she will die with the idea in her head that Dawn is her daughter.
Right, yeah, she's going to, yeah. I don't think Buffy would take that away from her.
So you're really doubling down on this prediction that Joyce is going to die.
Yes, but also that Buffy isn't going to take away isn't going to like inform her that Dawn is fake and that
Very
those
good.
memories are implanted.
Okay, some good new predictions.
Glad you think so. That's a lot of quiet men, which I like. It means that I'm getting somewhere.
Oh, really? What am I? What's my tell?
Just like quiet. You want to say something, and you're like, yeah.
How do you know
It's
I'm not holding back from making fun of you for a really stupid prediction?
Oh,
I
there's
think Mike has pointed out before that we tend to laugh when he makes mistakes.
Yeah, I think quiet is yeah, you got this, but maybe not what you think. And then like laughter is like, whoa, nope. Like, yeah, totally. Like Dennis said. Thank you for calling out the tells, Dennis. That's very helpful.
Now I know what they
Buffy
are.
Virgin
I'm gonna
poker.
try to trick you up. You're gonna predict something real, and I'm gonna laugh at you.
Yeah,
we
laugh
could
about
just to be safe, like mute our audio and turn off our camera for this. But
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
Oh, that'd be so smart.
We'll just like hold something up.
all right, I think that's the app. So I've been Dennis St. John. I'm at DENISCUMIX on Twitter, and that's my .com. You can buy my horror books, Land of Many Monsters and Many More Monster Tales, and more wherever the internet is found. And Michael, what are you up to these days? Where can people find your incredible stuff?
So I'm doing weekly YouTube videos on my YouTube channel, MP197400. I have 102 subscribers right now. I need to get to 20,000 in order to get monetized. So let's get there, folks. Let's get to 20,000 subscribers. But yeah, I'm doing YouTube videos every week about stuff I'm into. This week, I did a video about how to create a text message-based text adventure.
I played it. It was fantastic. I died
Oh, thanks, man.
constantly and repeatedly.
Thanks, John. It's very silly, but it's a lot of fun to make.
Really fun.
All right. So thank you one and all for listening and talking to us at Buffy Virgin. You can visit our website, buffyvirgin.com, for links to blog, YouTube, and Twitter and Instagram. Reach out. We love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that rate, review, subscribe button. Give us the thumbs up at the podcast listener of your choice. And we'll see you in hell.